all the guests and my dear Toastmasters. Professor Nalin Abesekara is a graduate from University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, special in marketing. And he is a professor in management studies attached to the Department of Management Studies in Open University of Sri Lanka. He is a chartered marketer and a member of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing and a consultant with over 15 years experience as well. He is a senior lecturer of strategic management, marketing and research methodology with lecturing exposure in Dubai, Oman and Qatar. He is serving as a visiting lecturer for MBA for leading national and international universities based in Sri Lanka. In 2012, Professor Abesekara has been nominated as a Best Asian Researcher finalist by Philippine Association of Institutions for Research. Not only that, the professor is also the recipient of 3 gold medals for strategic management, marketing management, and dissertation for his performance in Degree of Master from University of Colombo. Professor Nalin Abesekara has completed his PhD in 2019 in Leadership and Marketing. He is a proud product of Ananda College, and he is author and reviewer for many of international journals, articles, conference papers, and books. Professor Abesekara contributed many articles to leading magazines and national newspapers in Sri Lanka, covering economics, education, and tourism. Professor Nalin Abesekara makes effort to socialize his knowledge and experience through the media as well. I am very much curious, sir, to how to express more valuable and remarkable things to us as a keynote speech. And we are very lucky to impress with your amazing words. Not taking much of time, I cordially invite our keynote speaker, Professor Nalin Abesekara, to inspire our audience. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Kumudu, Mr. Kapila Veerasuriya, guest of honor, and my good friend Shiranti Salgado, chief guest, the past presidents, immediate outgoing president, and all the members. So by looking at the newsletter and whatever the demonstration you have done about past performance, so I have witnessed there are many achievements and many celebrations. In one of the small slide I have seen something called team. Team we consider as very important, because today in my discussion, actually I'm talking about something called effect of emotional intelligence on professionalism. So we are talking about as professionals, because here 9th club installation ceremony of Kuliyapitiya Toastmasters Club. So everyone, so we need to understand the importance of the professionalism, not only for your Toastmasters Club, for the entire country. Now we are in the pandemic situation. Everyone should help each other. And also more importantly, we need to think as a country. In that particular scenario also, we should discuss more on the professionalism, why this emotional intelligence affect for the professionalism. Once we are talking about professionalism, there are certain ingredients, attributes, characteristics we need to understand. The communication, the Toastmasters, I think I'm not going to teach you something on communication. Then the second one, the teamwork, that is very important. You should work as a team. Then critical thinking. Critical thinking. So according to Albert Einstein, the imagination is more important than knowledge. And we should be very concerned about ethics. Finally, the human factor. In marketing 3.0, Professor Kotler discussed something called like something aligned with spirituality of the customer, where he argued the concept of custom is no more. We should respect to the spirituality, humanity aspect of the custom. Even in Bhagavad Gita, the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, in one place they discuss something called cleansing the heart. 4 years back, India, Kerala University, they invited me for a keynote address where I have done something on this cleansing the heart aspect in Bhagavad Gita, aligned with the CSR activities conducted at Open University of Sri Lanka. We conduct many CSR activities in Open University. More importantly, we get certain messages from the university students. Even after the convocation, I got a message. One of the students already completed the MBA. She mentioned, "Dear sir, the time I fed that old mother in that cataract eye surgery campaign, I got more satisfaction than in the conversation date." The humanity aspect, that also part and parcel of professionalism. Most of the time in Sri Lanka, professionals always like to talk about communication, teamwork, maybe critical thinking. But these two aspects are really important. Then what is this IQ and what is this EI? Emotional intelligence and intelligent quotient. Most of the time, we like to discuss more on IQ. Here you can see the person with highest IQ. We start to think Albert Einstein is the person with wisdom. Yes, of course. But nowadays, we do different calculation. Here you can see a nationality Greek. He got IQ level of 192. Albert Einstein's IQ range 160. Sri Lankan born Nishi Uggal is one of the youngest people in the country to score the highest possible mark of 162 in the IQ society supervised testing. So most of the time, if you start to think you have IQ, good IQ, you are the genius. Accepted the fact, but here we are talking at different levels. The genius level, mostly we are in the range of 90 to 120. Even us, you also can test your IQ. You just go to Google and type, know your IQ, test your IQ, you get certain 45 minutes test, then you can test your IQ. Average, it should be 90 to 120. Anyway, I'll give you 30 seconds or maybe 10 seconds to read this. At best, IQ contributes about 20% to the factors that determine life success, which leaves 90% of other forces, force grouped as emotional intelligence. The concept of emotional intelligence been extensively discussed. So this has been extracted from Daniel Goleman. We consider him as father of emotional intelligence. As a professionals, we need to understand the beauty and the value of emotional intelligence. So what are the factors contributing? Know your emotions. You should know your own emotions. Whatever the time we are looking at, number of deaths, number of people victimized in COVID-19 pandemic scenario, we should have certain feelings, not merely posting a criticism on Facebook. Today itself, I have listened to one of the radio news. Millions of fruits, vegetables in many market wasted. As a Toastmaster club, you can do something for that. Because unless the innocent farmers, they get victimized, we should get together and have a kind of a, effective mechanism. In Sri Lanka, there's a problem with supply chain. Yes, we need to address to that. But we can get together and get certain contacts of innocent farmers. So ultimately, effect for them. You should know your emotions. Then you should know how to manage your emotions. Unfortunately, there's one good article on cockroach theory. Please read that. You type the Google CEO, he discussed something called the cockroach theory. You should know how to manage your own emotions, unless you fail. Motivate in yourself. That is very important. You should have this energetic way of like adhering to basic principles, align with your own motives. Then fourth one, recognizing and understanding other people's emotions. You should think as a nation, as a country, especially this is relevant for the current pandemic situation. Everyone should get together. Right? So one of my students, I talked to him in Dubai, he said, there are different fine system. If you are not adhering rules, face mask, above the nose, 100 dirham. Then again, if you are positive, if you are going to supermarket, he mentioned around 30 to 40,000 dirham fine, along with your photo is going to put in the newspaper. But the fine, yes, of course, sometimes might be effective, but you should have emotional intelligence to understand other people's emotions. Then manage relationships. You should know managing the emotions of others. I think you are very fortunate to have this Shriyanti Salgadu. I know in the university as well as in outside, she's one of the best to understand others and managing relationships. We are talking about managing emotions of others. So IQ gets you hired, but you should have emotional intelligence, get you promoted. So this is another very good idea I just want to inculcate. So I'm getting one interesting example. Our time, one of the famous singer, the Madonna, but new generation, Generation X, Y, you have different singers. Madonna versus John F. Kennedy, one of the popular president with good personality. Madonna IQ level 140, John F. Kennedy only 119. I'm talking about IQ level. IQ level doesn't matter. How you like dealing with the emotions of others, how you respect to others. So that's why people always consider John F. Kennedy as one of the popular in the world among politicians, not Madonna. So it means technically, if you are going to vote for a person not only with the IQ level, vote for a person with IQ and emotional intelligence as well. I'm talking about something beyond to politics, right? Then we can see nowadays we are talking about Generation X and Generation Y. And Generation Z, millennials, different generation. In our days, we like to write more, 2-3 pages of letters and all, maybe to get the heart of others, right? But nowadays, this generation, they are very smart. They use different languages. They use Singlish, a small message. They are very much technological savvy. That is one of the reasons where one of the famous song these days on viral, Manike Obemage. 45 million people shared that song. It's going viral. Right? It's one of the famous song which already been translated into Malayalam, Tamil and Hindi. It's one of the Sri Lankan song. We should encourage the young people, young generation with their talent. But sometimes I can see people just with different egos, different level of intellectuals, they start to criticize. One of the good example in India, 9 years back, the success story in viral marketing. I can remember the song, Why This Kolaveri? They used this Tanglish, Tamil and English. That was the success story. The professors in India, they put the song in their university, like their lecture sessions. They appraise the evaluation levels and all, and they discuss about patriotism, right? The belongingness. But that time, I can remember some Sri Lankan scholars, they just criticize. But what you need to understand, the people, especially the young people, we need to recognize their talents. That is part of emotional intelligence. Now, unfortunately, this is very valid for current pandemic situation, but this statistics extracted bit before the pandemic. 58% of children between the ages of 22 to 5 can play computer games, but only 43% of them can ride bicycles. 10% of children in that age group know the smartphone application, but only 9% can tie the laces on their shoes. So you need to be very concerned in this pandemic situation about our children. We are talking about socialization. Unfortunately, primary, we are talking about socialization with the parents. The secondary, with the teachers. The thirdly, only we are talking about the social media and all. If you get addicted with that, there are many problems. Question in the emotional intelligence. You need to be very concerned about your children. Unfortunately, they miss the golden age, golden time with their school buddies. They are working with the computers. You need to tell them, you need to talk to them, try to engage more with them, unless you can see only the machine. Unfortunately, that can be a bad repercussion for our future generation. That also you need to understand. And also, before I'm going to wind up, communication is 20% about what you know and 80% about how you feel about what you know. So this is very important for us to understand. It's about 20% about what you know and 80% about you feel about what you know. The quotation of Jim Rohn. And as Toastmasters, you need to understand the Rabindranath Tagore, the philosopher, truly perceived that mother tongue is the true vehicle of self-expression. The native language. I can see there are certain parents at home, they tell their children, no Sinhala, no Tamil, only English. Don't do that. Now, most of the articles being written in different journals, even in Western, even in different countries, they say, for your creativity and imagination, mother tongue is number one. Then only you need to teach your children about other languages. That also you need to understand. This is really important for the lives of yours and lives of your future generation. So that is the only communication I just want to make. So this is the time where we need to get together and try to understand the real meaning of professionalism. Right? So thank you very much, Sarah, for inviting me. And I would like to wish you all the best for your future endeavors, especially incoming president and all. Thank you again.
Thank you.